Yes.
YouTube faithful, what's going on? It's like, what, 2:30 in the afternoon? We got a mid-range baseball slate today. Not a lot of heavy hitters. The pitching slate masterclass was yesterday, but that's okay because today we're going to focus on roughly 2 to 3 plays that I like for MLB. I might throw in a WNBA here and there. We're going to break it down, discuss it using a data analysis-driven approach. Now, if you're new to this channel, I cover all the pick'em sites, all the fantasy sports, so go ahead, smash subscribe, and if you've been here for a while, you best be hitting that like button because it helps your boy out. Now, without further ado, let's get this going. By the way, we're going to cover PrizePicks and ParlayPlay, so without further ado, let's go. So, first person I want to talk about is the deGrom special. Now, everybody knows the Angels strike out a lot. Liz K-line's at 7. He's going to need 8 to cover. I don't really think there's too much equity there or value. Here's why. It's most likely in this spot, he's going to land on 7. This is PrizePicks' MO, their whole model, their whole business model. If he lands on 7 and you have him in a 2-man, they only have to pay 1.5x, assuming your other play cashes, but they're just banking on the fact that your other play chalks, and then you get this 0 goose egg. So there's literally no value in the square at 7. I mean, sure, he can get 8. It's the Angels and he's an elite pitcher, but I think the value would be in the 6.5 because his range of outcomes is likely that he's going to land on 7. And then for the conservative man among you, 5.5 seems to be the moneymaker to give you your 2x squares. Now, keep all that in mind as I talk about everything else going forward. They don't have a normal hit allowed for him. It's 3.5 or 6.5. There's no mid-range, which is crazy. And then they have his pitching outs with paired with any random square will pay you 2.75x, which is pretty much a regular payout, okay? That fact alone led me to his 17.5 pitching outs, because look, if you take 6.5 Ks and pair it with any random square, it is also 2.75x, okay? So you could go that route, but you're going to need 7 just the same. If you go with the 5.5 with any random square, it's 2.25x, okay? So that's actually a pretty good deal. That is why I would take the 5.5 on the strikeouts, just to give me a little bit of buffer room there. And then if I did want that 2.75x, I'm just going to hope that he goes and gets 18 pitching outs, which as you can see, he usually goes right around 18 with the upside of 21. Is it going to be sweaty? Sure. It's always sweaty to get a full 6 innings out of pitchers. And unfortunately, as I'm writing this or as I'm talking about this, I'm pretty sure I gave myself poison ivy again mowing the lawn today because it's starting to flare up and I don't know what else it could be. Gosh dang it. All right, so let's go. We'll talk about deGrom a little bit more. We're going to go to Crushed Bats, which is my MLB prediction simulator model. I have a base model and I have a simulator model. I built this one from the ground up, 50 different points. This is version 2, and I've added some bells and whistles and some things to help you on your way. Now, the first thing you can see is when you go to the picture now, this little snapshot is going to pop up. It's not that pretty, but guys, I'm not an interface designer. I'm a numbers guy, okay? So now I give you the season stats per 9 innings right here, nice and neat so you can see, which was already on the website already, but now you can see the home road splits. Why is this important? Because some pitchers do better on the road than they do at home and vice versa. He's actually getting more Ks on the road than he is at home. Same thing with his ERA. He's giving up more runs on the road, and his hits, he's pretty much dead average, and the walks are pretty much dead average. So there's that to consider. The last 5 starts, you can see 6 innings pitched, 7, 6, 6, 7. We know that. We know what he's capable of. 6, 7, 7, 6, 8. And then the biggest change here that you're going to see besides the home and road splits is the trend part. This now is going to factor in his baseline performance. So I've given every pitcher in the MLB a baseline performance, whether they get 5 Ks, 6 Ks, 2 runs, 2 walks, a baseline for that pitcher. And then I compare it to their last 10 starts and analyze based on that data whether they're due a neutral performance, which would mean they're pretty much not due a bad game, they're not due a bounce back game, they're just due a steady normal game based on the trend data, or if they are due a bad game, or if they're due a bounce back game, meaning they've been struggling way low, they've been doing way worse than their normal base, and now it's time for them to do a bounce back, the model will catch that. Same thing if they've been doing way too good, and now they're due to go back to their baseline, the model will catch that. So this is the trends portion of this. I added that in there. I like it. I think it's going to help you out a lot. Just give you an idea of what to expect. And then if we go to the regular site, you can see here the Vegas odds are here so you can see what's up as always. And you can see the walk rate, strikeout rate, and batting average, a little matchup analysis. The Los Angeles Angels are easier to strike out, obviously. They hit below average and they draw fewer walks than the league average against right-handed pitchers, okay? So they're easier to strike out, they hit below average, and they draw fewer walks. That's the nut scenario for Jacob deGrom, okay? We can go to his last 10 starts and see he's been dealing. Look at all the green. 6, 7, 7, 6, 8, 4, 0, 9, 7, 10. Masterclass deGrom. Look at these outs. 18, 21, 18, 18, 21, 18, 16. Now, I would say he's due regression, right? But he's operating right along his baseline as the model implied. He's due a neutral performance. So he's not due a bad game. He's not due a big game. He's just due to continue what he's doing, which is 18 to 21 outs, 5 to 7 strikeouts, 1 to 2 earned runs, a couple hits and walks, average. Now, we're going to run it through here, and the line being at 6.5, 1.5 earned runs, 4.5 hits, 1.5 walks. We're going to run this 10,000 times. This is what this does. It simulates the game as if it happened 10,000 times, and you can see, on average, 8 Ks, 1.6 earned runs, 3.5 hits allowed, 1 walk, 6.2 innings pitched, which equates to 18.8 outs. So he has a 70% chance to go over 6.5 Ks. Now that means he's going under 30% of the time. So out of this simulation, 7,000 times he went over, 3,000 times he went under. That is how you look at it. It's right here nice and neat. For the rest, the recommendations: take more on the Ks, fade the earned runs. You would take less on 4.5 hits allowed and less on 1.5 walks allowed. The weather at American Family Field in Anaheim, California is going to be 79 degrees, 50% humidity. The pressure is that the wind is 9 miles an hour. And you can see because of the headwind, we are getting reduced earned runs and hits by 7%. That's nothing to sneeze at, folks. Reduced earned runs by 7%. We will take it. Now, if you take away the Vegas market manipulation, you can see it's still at 69%, which is nothing. That's pretty much the same. Every time you click crush it, it's going to run a new simulation. The numbers are going to fluctuate slightly, as you can see. 70, 69. It's basically 69% in 10,000 runs, but we're focused on the pitching outs and the Ks. It's a solid read. It's a solid matchup. As you can see here, the matchup analysis. So if we're just taking this from a data-driven approach, everything checks out. It should be good to go, okay? Then if you look at the Vegas odds, it's extremely juiced, which means it's likely more to happen, and that is that. And then we can go back to the snapshot here. It'll load up, and you can see he's actually getting more Ks on the road. That helps our case for the Ks, and he's due a neutral performance. So it should be right on track with what he's been doing and what he's capable of. So that's a long-winded way to say Jacob deGrom over 17.5 pitching outs or 6.5 Ks. I showed you the data. The data is not gonna lie to you, folks. The data is there. It's definitely something you have to consider. Now, I can see PrizePicks has already made a couple of adjustments on a lot of the things I took under or over on. Kikuchi comes to mind. Now, on the other side of this coin, Kikuchi is playing the Rangers, and he's been dealing 7, 12, 9, 10. But look, 10, 9, 12. I think he's due regression. But I don't want to take under on his Ks. What I wanted to do for Kikuchi was go over here to his pitches thrown, which is 98.5, and you can see he's been throwing 100, 105, 103, 92, 104, a lot of pitches he's been dealing. But eventually that has to come back to normal. Look at his last 5. He's gone over 80%, last 10, 60%, but last 15, 47%. 2025, he's only gone over 50%. 2024, only 25%. Head-to-head, only 33%. I mean, if I'm looking at this as a data guy, I see a reason that it is at the highest it's ever been, 98.5. It's time to take the under. And if he sells, guys. I wouldn't anchor something like this, but I'm definitely taking some shares of Kikuchi under 98.5 pitches thrown. I just think it's too many for his baseline of what he's capable of. I'm not really sold on it. So that would be fine if you want to go there. Now, Sean Burke playing Toronto. Not a good matchup for strikeouts. They lowered his line to 3.5. It was 4. Everybody's on the over because they're looking at the last 5 and they're thinking, wow, he's killing everybody. He's going to go yard. He's going to get 5 Ks. Maybe not, okay? I think he's been overperforming his rear end off, guys. You know it. I know it. Most of you guys couldn't pick Sean Burke out of a police lineup. He had 30 fantasy points, 42, 34, 2, 34. He ain't that good of a pitcher. I mean, he's all right, but he's nothing that I'm really going to blow my horn about. And if we go look at him on crushed bats and let it do its thing, let it load, you can see here that the trend agrees with me. The model agrees he is due for struggles. Why? Because he's been outperforming his baseline for like the past 5 or 6, 7 games, however many he's played. He's been outperforming it. Look at this, 7, 7, 4, 5, 6, 0, 1, 7, 2. That's not normal for him. He's not, this isn't who he is as a pitcher. So he's been overperforming his baseline. So that signals that it's time for him to go back to his normal self, and he's due to struggle. Now, does that mean that he's guaranteed to go under 4Ks or under fantasy score or any of that stuff? No, it doesn't. That's just, I mean, he very well could go out there today and pitch a master class. And if you take under, you'll sit there, be holding the bag, be like, oh, I thought he was due a bad game. He is. Just because it is due to be like that, or it should happen, doesn't mean it will. If it did, we'd all be rich, and I wouldn't be wasting my time doing these YouTube videos, my brothers in Christ. I'd be on my yacht smoking the cigar. You dig? But here we are, trying to grind it out. Strikeouts per game. Look at the league average, 6.7 compared to the league average of 8.4 with righties. They do not strike out a lot at all. Their average walk rate. And if we simulate this situation here, he does go over 3.5 Ks 56% of the time. Okay, he's projected for 4. I personally took under 4. They moved it to 3.5, so now I leave it alone. What else is here? 14.9 pitching outs on average. We'll call it 15. So where is my value coming from? Well, I can see his walks. If I wanted to take over 3.5, it's going over 56% of the time, which means 44% of the time it's going under. Okay, it just doesn't. Now, keep in mind, this is version 2 and it's still not deployed yet. Version 1 is what's deployed right now. So where you see like Minute Maid Park, that's a glitch. It is taking the weather from the right place in Chicago, Illinois. It's supposed to be Rate Field, but it's showing Minute Maid Park. That is a glitch. I can fix that. I will fix that. Those are minor bugs that I will have fixed out before it's deployed. My plan is to have it deployed either late tonight or early tomorrow, version 2. But yeah, version 1 is available for you right now in the Discord if you sign up, which I will talk about momentarily. But before we do that, the pitching outs, 14.95. Now, PrizePicks had his pitching outs at 16.5. They since bumped it down to 16. So let's go over to ParlayPlay where they had it at 16.5 and see if they bumped it down. Nope, they didn't. So this is where you would want to take under on his pitching outs. He's going to need to pitch basically almost a full 6 innings to cash this, which I hope that the Blue Jays bring their stuff and they shell him, but we will see what happens. He has been crushing, and this is a play that I'm making where I believe he's due regression. So we will see what happens. And then they have on ParlayPlay deGrom, 17.5 outs. This right here is 2.75x. Pretty much the same as PrizePicks Today. So there's that. Then they have some promos. They have Caminero, 0.5 hits, 1.4. They have Roman Anthony. They have Alicia. They have Yamato at 5.5 Ks. They have Altuve, who's been absolutely crushing, albeit in a worse matchup now. Alyssa Thomas, double-double. I'm not exactly sure which one I'm going to take, but I definitely think this one is fine. And then I'm going to talk about one more person for MLB. We'll move on to WNBA. And that is Jose Berrios. Blueberries facing the same matchup, the White Sox. 4.5 Ks. I think he can get 4.5 Ks, but that's not really what I'm interested in. I got his fantasy score at 30.5. It's now 32.5. You see he got shelled versus the Yankees. I believe he's due a bounce back game. His pitching outs or his fantasy score, either one is fine with me. It looks like they bumped his pitches thrown. It looks like they bumped all of it. His fantasy score, etc. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do here now. I did take his pitching outs. His fantasy score being bumped kind of makes me want to leave that alone now because it's going to be close. He will need the quality start and the win to cover this because he's not going to get there with strikeouts. Trust me. He may get 4 to 5, but that's not going to be enough. You're going to need a quality start and win to put you over the 32.5 mark. So I think the 17.5 outs is just fine. Something like this would pay 4.25x. If you wanted to risk taking the pitches thrown, you can see his last 5, he hasn't even come close. 83, 91, 98, but the last time he played them, he did get 98. This is where he excelled. The last time he played this lineup was his last big game, 48 fantasy points. He did crush Boston as well. Pitching outs, he had 23 against the White Sox. So I think that's fine. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do there, but that's my analysis for MLB, and as always, we'll go over the hitters on the live stream, which is at 5:30 Central in the Discord. You can get into my Discord and get my data models, crushed bats, the pitcher side, which is out right now. Version 2 will be released soon, which is the one that I have working on my end, but version 1 is just the same thing. It's just got a little less bells and whistles. The hitter side's coming out. You can get in. It is $24.99 a month. It will be going to $35 once all the hitter side is out before the football season. But if you get in now, you are grandfathered in at $24.99. Click join now. I do have the 3-month summer special. 60 for 3 months gives you a $15 discount. 6 months for that, 1 month for that. This will give you access into my Discord, which is where I run everything. You get my base model for MLB, my base model for WNBA. You'll get my lineups directly, which yesterday was a beautiful thing. Right here, the late night sweep. Tucker under half a K. Boyd over 4.5. He went conservative. I took him 4.5. Seager over. Tatis over. Absolute cash. Jack leader under 15.5. Sweat free. Yesterday, I gave out like 14 plays, all the while on a Sunday while I'm coating my rear end off, and I only missed 2. Dollander chalked his Ks, and Nafisa Collier hooked her points. But this was my 4-man, Reese, Williams, Tucker, Boyd. This was my 6-man for the night, 23x. 23.5x to be exact. Fetty Wap under, Tucker under, Boyd over, Seager over, Tatis over, and leader under. Sweat-free cash, to be honest. Seager and Tatis basically cashed their first bat. It was a beautiful thing, Donnie. Boyd dealt, Tucker crushed, Fetty sweat-free, and Jack was pretty much sweat-free. It got a little sweaty there in the end, but he did green. So you can have access to these plays, which are under the daily prop section, which this is yesterday's right here. You can see it. It was all right here. And then for the slip tab, this was the 4-man I gave under the slip yesterday. Williams cash, Anderson cash. How many of you took Anderson over thinking that was a good play? Clowns. Under. Give it to me. Last 5 Kings are in shambles. Gavin over, Anderson under, Dollander chalked, and Skeen soared. 3 of 4, but as you can see, I said, do it in a 2-man, Williams and Anderson. Those are my favorite 2. Cash it. So you get all of that and more, which is the general chat, access to the live streams, in addition to my data model crushed bets. Okay, so give it a shot, $25 a month. This will help you win at MLB as well as the live streams and everything else I do where we cover the hitters because it's not deployed yet. So get in the mix, folks. Now let's look at WNBA and then we'll get out of here. All right, so we only got 2 games, and who are the studs? Well, we got Paige, who is a free square, I believe, and we got Alyssa Thomas. Those are the 2 studs on the slate. Everyone else is secondary, all right? And those of you that are like, Cap, Alicia Gray, forget about Alicia Gray. I'm not interested. If you want to take her, you can. Pause. Alyssa Thomas, 33.5 PRA. I think she's hitting. If we go over here to Pick Finder, another partner of mine where I used to get my historical data analysis, you can use code CRUSH and get 10% off for life. Okay, so wife just called me mid-recording. Our dogs are at the vet and they're trying to, scam us with their exams and stuff that they don't need. So I had to make sure that that was on point. So anyways, what was I talking about? We're talking about Alyssa Thomas. Pick Finder is a partner of mine, 10% off for life with code CRUSH. The link's in the description. But here we go. Alyssa Thomas, PRA. Look how bad this looks on paper. My goodness, especially versus Dallas. July 3rd, she didn't get there. June 11th, she didn't get there. My, oh my, she did get there then. But overall, this number is extremely inflated. What are we going to do? Well, look at all these numbers. Should we be taking under? This is my question to you, comment guy. Why is PrizePicks putting this line up here if it's just as easy as looking at this and being like, oh, take under? So I'm going to leave it alone for the PRA. But I think her RA could be considered over at 17.5. Last time she played, she did get 17. But if we do go to the base model here, we can see Alyssa Thomas is projected for 10.5 rebounds and 7.9 assists, making her being at like roughly 17.5 or 18. So if they did have a goblin for it, maybe that would be all right. And then Paige, 18.2 points, 19.5. She's been absolutely dealing, but that line refuses to go up. So that signals to me I would be taking under, but since it's a free square, I'm just going to fade it. And then Alicia Gray, 17 points. Rin Howard, 15 points. I think you could take Alicia Gray to get 17.5 points. Seeing as she's projected for 17.5, it's not a big differential that I like. And same thing with Rin Howard, 15.6. Her line is 15.5. There's no real value on this slate. So what are we going to do, chat? This is stuff that we'll have to discuss on the live stream because it's like maybe there'll be more value that breaks later on. My gut wants to take under on Paige right here at 19.5. Why? Because she's just been 23, 27, 12, 20, 20. She's been absolutely dealing. She just got 23, but she shot hyper efficient I'm most likely going to leave it alone because it's a free square. That's my exposure, but I'll come back to it. I guess what you could do for Alicia Gray is take her Goblin at 14.5. I mean, her range of outcomes, there's nothing really sexy here. If we go to against her opponents, if we put this down to 14.5, it significantly increases her range of outcomes, her floor and ceiling. But guys, I'm not in love with any of this. Honestly, for now, just fade the WNBA. I can't give you anything concrete. I think you go with deGrom. I think you go with Berrios. And I think you take a shot on Burke under. Sprinkle it around with some hitters. Is there any bonuses for the WNBA, promos for the WNBA? Alicia Gray's points, there we go. Alicia Gray at 14.5 is a promo. We'll take that. Now, this would be the 4 that I would take. Burke under, deGrom over, Gray over, and Berrios under. But I'm going to keep it conservative with a 2-man and just blast it. 250 and pray that she gets 15 points. I'm in there for 250. deGrom 17.5 outs, Gray over 14.5 points, which is the boost. Last big lineup I did on ParlayPlay, which was Thursday on this video. Everything hit except May. He hooked his walks at a $1,700. Use promo code CRUSH if you want a tail. If you want to fade, it's up to you. The link's in the description, and I throw in 30 days of my Discord where you get all the models, the live streams, etc. Now, if you think I'm joking, here it is. This was Thursday, the last time I put in a lineup because I took it easy on Friday and the weekend on ParlayPlay. I gave this out on the tube. Abrams, Wilson, Howard, 17-20 hooked because May decided to deal a masterclass. And the worst part is my model had him soaring over strikeouts, which I took. But I also took his walks because he's Dustin May and everyone knows he gives up walks, okay? And it cost me 17-20. I'm still on tilt. And then my little 2-man double up I did for $5, of course, it smashes sweat free. It's cinema! But that's that, guys. I do appreciate you tuning in. I got a lot of stuff coming. I got these. I know I've been saying the hitter model's coming soon. Version 2. It is. Version 2, the pitcher side is almost done. I just have to deploy it, iron out a few bugs like that stadium quirk. And then the hitter model is working. We just don't have it deployed yet because I'm working on the interface, the user interface, adding a dark mode. But I do go over it on the live streams every day. You give me the hitters you want me to run. I run them. We cook them. We cash them. Live stream at 5:30. Be there or be square. CaptainCrush.net gets you into the dance. If you haven't subscribed already, smash subscribe. If you didn't like, hit like. Know your role. Pay the toll. Here's the salute. Good luck in all your contests. And as always, my brothers and sisters in Christ, let's crush.